she got a history of drug use apparently, though, and they know bones about it. In fact, she always bragged then and after that she smoked weed every day for pain management because she was a stunt double. She had so many injuries from being a stunt double that she was in chronic pain, so she had to smoke weed to get the pain away. Who knows? I don't know. Not my business, not my circus, not my monkeys. So she had a stroke before Eddie Ann and her got divorced. It was a legit stroke, it wasn't a fake one. But doctors told her, you got to stop, you got to quit getting so wild and crazy. You can't go to concerts anymore and crowd surf. You can't be doing all this active stuff. You got to slow down because if you had one stroke, you're likely to have another one. Right. And so Eddie and I had talked like last week, sometime what day, early in the weekend. He said that we had a conversation about that issue because he and I had spoken since the wedding. And he said basically that she insisted upon reliving her 20s, going to his concerts and crowd surfing, acting fool against doctor's advice. And he just wore him the hell out because he got out of his system 30 years before. He was done with all that crap. But Michelle just was obsessed with that, and he didn't understand it. I never did either because, and that was one thing that Erica said after the conversation. She's in her upper 40s, almost 50, if not past 50 something, and she thinks she's still got it. That was her comment after Michelle said she was thinking about going back into escorting again. Who's going to be her client? Because she's in her 50s or late 40s. No one's going to want to sleep with a 40, 50-year-old woman who's an escort. They're going to want to go somebody who's young and nubile and all this. Not that. But yet she, probably because of brain damage made from a stroke, they cause some kind of damage in there. You can see that her behavior. She's not high. Something's going on neurologically. But she really believes that men are going to be wanting to pay to sleep with her. Lots of them, great, whatever, votes her vote, but not likely. And I'm not here to trash Michelle, so I don't want to fall off a slippery slope there. I don't want to fall off a slippery slope there. So I'll be very more polished and careful how I present on this because I'm not here to insult her. But like I said, she has some challenges, and that's apparent. We'll leave it at that. So then, she and I had a conversation by phone. I think she reached out to me on Facebook or something one day. We chatted, and there was some flirting going on. And as I mentioned before, I was married. Eric and I were basically roommates. There was no intimacy anymore. And she told me that she'd love to sleep with me, but I was going to have to pay for it. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's not what I'm really aiming for anyway. And she really just kind of, really just that was bizarre. But then that was like a year ago. We hadn't spoken since then, but maybe once or twice. It was just, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Erica passed away in January. She told me how sorry she was that she couldn't make it. So I'll address that for a second. So I'm finding out that the day Erica died, on the 13th, she was already online with 12, bawling her eyes out about Erica being brain dead and being rushed to emergency surgery and to the hospital and all these things. I was reporting on Facebook to people who cared and loved Erica, cared for us and loved Erica. And she apparently, as I understand it, pretended to have a stroke the same day and was using details about Erica's situation and claiming them as her own. And apparently Eddie Ann, she was claiming, was the author of the note saying she's being airlifted to the hospital for emergency surgery, has getting an EEG for brain activity. No, that was what I was saying about Erica. Erica was having an EEG done to monitor brain activity because she was probably brain dead. Needed to find out what was going on with. So she was using my wife's condition to, as it appeared, to pretend it was on some level her own to get people to.
Yeah, she was told that she wanted to take herself off YouTube, but instead of doing that, she faked a stroke and then came on a panel and was like even trying to talk slow and all this stuff. She was like, I can't remember.
Is Eddie Ann bullshit? Definitely not. He knows the bullshit.
Was Michelle always like she is now?
Pretty well. She seemed more stable and put together before, minus the whole history of being an escort. The way Erica put it to me was that she was a Heidi Fleiss in New Orleans. Don't doubt it. I'll tell a story about that in a minute, just more or less related to Michelle. But anyway, remind me to do that. But she spoke more normally, more fluidly. Now she's more random and just off the wall. She talks like somebody who's got a neurological problem or she's on something. And so there's something wrong there. No doubt she has always been like that. I know that she used to brag about whether she was doing it or not. I'm very careful with the way I say things because I can only speak to what I saw or what I was told. And even then, how you interpret what you see is not always how it is. So all I can say was she bragged about smoking marijuana a lot. I've seen her smoke marijuana myself some when I was there for her wedding. So there is some history of some level of drug use or abuse. I don't know anything else other than marijuana that she has done or does, but there is something going on, and I think it's either neurological or a substance abuse of some kind, or both.
Or both. I think both.
But I cannot speak to that, and beyond that, all I can say is it would be wrong to say anything more than speculation. Even that might be a little wrong that I've said so far, but I'm concerned about her because even though I don't have any feelings for her, personally, I don't have any feelings for her, personally, a relationship with her at all. She's a human being who is having a really rough time, and I think it's fair that everybody shows some compassion for that. But what her behavior is another thing, and I'm not a fan of that, obviously. But I would just ask for everybody involved to, even though she's behaving in a way that's not ethical, or may not be anyway, be careful what you say and what you do. She's still a person. We treat her with some level of kindness.
We've all tried so many times. She's had so many offers of help.
I know. Eddie Ann told me that what he does is he does give her money still, as far as I know, 1,000 here, a few hundred there. So she's still getting money from Eddie Ann, but he's not required to. What he told me was that, and forgive me, Eddie Ann, if you see this, you don't like me saying it, but I mean, it's probably public information anyway. I don't think it's hurting anyone to say it. But he logs the data with his attorney when he gives her money out of the goodness of his heart, so that when they go to court later, it shows that he's being a good guy and he's not trying to hurt her. And so all she's doing is hurting himself. So she's getting more money, whether she says it or not. I don't know how much or how often, but she's gotten money from Eddie N. Presumably while she's still getting money from everybody else. So I don't know what game she's playing. I'm not saying that she used the money, definitely contrary to what she said she was going to use it for when I gave it to her. But I just suspected that maybe she wasn't, and that was why I pulled out, because I did not like seeing a clip of her, saying, I'm going to hit him up every month for $600 more, and I'm going to get as much as this person, as much from that person. It just rubbed me the wrong way big time. And that was why I said, hey, I'd like my money back, please. Don't respond. I said, just give my money back, when you can ASAP. And then she just went off the deep end after that. I mean, I don't know what lies she thinks I've told, because she says, I'm sick of all your lies, Trey. Well, I didn't really say anything that could be, I didn't say anything at all, I don't know what she's referring to me lying about. Is Eddie a drunk like Michelle claims? I don't think so. I had heard that he drank a lot from Erica, but that came from Michelle. There was a PTSD episode that happened, understandably, because of his experiences in combat. And I think Michelle sent pictures of Eddie wearing flip-flops and shorts and carrying a gun out the back door. But I think that was overblown trauma. But she would appear at his workplace and harass him there. He worked in a secure military compound. She'd show up there. She threatened to tell him tell his employers, federal government, that she was being beaten by him every night. And that's a big deal, because
she's claiming that he's dumped boiling water on her and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I don't know what was going on in that house between she and Eddie N, but it sounds like it was pretty crazy. And I don't think it was Eddie N. I think Eddie N has some challenges, but any man who sacrificed what he has for his country is going to have some trauma. And yeah, I don't hold anything against Eddie N. I think he's probably gotten the help that he needs. And Michelle has not been a good partner for him. I suspect she's been using him for his money, for his pension, because when I met him, he was already out of the military. When they got married, he was a retired major. So I mean, she was getting, that's kind of why she says I'm a veteran officer's spouse, or whatever it was. She was a spouse of a retired officer. She was not there with him when he served. I can tell you that right now. That was not the case. They met in New Orleans at a bar, as I recall. There was after he was already out of the military. So this is just some silly stuff.
Well, yeah, when she's giving your name, she's giving your information.
Right.
That's how I guess everybody found you. Said numerous people have reached out to you. I'm sure that's how everybody found you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what they all said, was they saw the screenshots of my Facebook profile pic and my little armor and my little Masonic little outfit that I have on with my Freemason, little Louisiana Freemason thing on it and all that. And my phone number. And one person did text me. She seemed lovely. Everybody's been very kind. Only thing I've seen negative was the people that were putting comments on a couple clips that I saw. And that was ultimately I want to respond. I see Sidebar has a question. Just trying to see how many people were supportive of him because of what he saw being done. That's the impression I'm getting, is how predominantly more supportive people are of me than against. And look, I'm not even involved in this. I don't care. There's a saying I like to quote occasionally in times of trouble. When people say something bad about you, so I always think, wolves do not concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. Michelle is a sheep. I've got much more going on in my life. I'm much more engaged in the world around me than she is. I feel sorry for her, but she's not. Nothing she says or does, puts out on YouTube or anything, is consequential to me. It's not going to hurt me. Nothing she can do. Just know what I worked for. It's a change all the time anyway. She can't mess my life up. And if she comes here and she threatens me, she's going to have another thing coming. So, and I'm justified taking whatever physical actions I have to. So I don't really think of her as a threat. I tend to think that a lot of attention to her is motivated by something else, because frankly, it's not warranted. I mean, she's a troubled person. I don't know what else to say about that. But I just thought it would be, the Robert De Niro phone number thing. I wanted the same thing, because she could have put that in there and just say, here's his number. But from what Erica told me, she legit was an escort and legit did service people in Hollywood. Robert De Niro might have been one of them. She and I had a conversation once or twice about specific details about their encounter or encounters together. And apparently Robert De Niro was one of her regulars, according to what she said. I can't speak to that, but who knows? Right. Well, I mean, seriously, Heidi Fleiss was a big name in Hollywood. And I'll tell the story about the New Orleans escort thing. So, so allegedly she was, according to Erica, before she passed away, when I first met Michelle, Erica described her after our encounter together as having been the Heidi Fleiss of New Orleans. So she was making a crap ton of money being an escort or running an escort service. And I don't think it was just her. She ran the service, and so she made a lot of money. Eddie N made her quit being an escort and give up her business before he would marry her. So that was an ongoing thing. So I often wonder why he is a military officer. He would get involved with somebody like that. But I can't answer that question. Not gonna even go there or speculate, because, like I said, Eddie N's a good guy. He really, really is. There was one time when Michelle was more stable, or at least acted so, and maybe he got fooled. We can leave it at that. But it
seems like she's a pretty good actress. Like, it seems like with everybody, she's great for like 6 months, a couple months, and then the real person of her comes out.
Well,
she's had like 3 marriages. It seems like maybe she puts on a good act. I don't know.
And I'm not comfortable speaking to that, because I don't have any visibility over that. But there's, like I said, there's something going on there.
I don't know either.
Yeah, there's something going on there. I don't have any knowledge of it. I will say this: I was a forensic scientist at the State Police Crime Lab in Baton Rouge for a few years, and there was one particular case that I had where a girl was found dead. She was an escort in New Orleans, a lovely blonde girl, and I was a drug chemist, so I did the analysis of the drug evidence. There was a needle syringe, I think, in the bathroom with a tray, and there was a plate with cocaine or powder substance, or turned out to be cocaine in the kitchen that had been dissolved in water. And I think she was found dead at the foot of her bed. She was part of New Orleans escorts. I have often wondered if this was not Michelle's business. This is one of her girls. I don't know. This was probably back in 2000, 2002. This girl had been like I said, she was an escort. She had a little black book that was found amongst her personal items that had all of her Johns in there, and she had like coded language. She had so many hearts for how nice the person was. She would put dollar signs if he paid her well. She would describe the person as being nice or not so nice, aggressive, sweet, whatever, brings flowers, that kind of thing. So she kept track of all the guys that she serviced. And one was an LSU, I want to say, finance professor or a English professor, one of the two guy. This is way back in like 2000, 2002 or something before I left the crime lab. But I've often speculated. I wondered if that was the same escort service that Michelle was, part of a running.
You got a man up there accusing people.
Who knows? But that was just something that was often occurred to me because apparently she was a big name in New Orleans. At least her business was well known. So yeah, I'm not quite sure details beyond that. I don't think it's all true. Nothing ever is when people are talking about stuff like that. But I can only go with what Erica told me, and this is what she either knew or what Michelle told my late wife Erica about Michelle, and that's all I can speak to. Hey, stop!
His dogs are
She's talking about being an escort again because she has no money. She wants to go back into doing what she used to do. So when I did talk to Michelle, I can backtrack a little bit here. So she and I had a few conversations. The night that I met with her and Erica and Eddie, she showed me her cell phone, and she had a lot of Hollywood celebrities on her cell phone. Their numbers. Robert De Niro was one of them. I had an issue. I left the police department where I was working as a director of a crime lab. And
we were talking about that today, claiming you got fired for sexually harassing somebody or something.
No, well, okay, well, a DNA analyst trainee because she was incompetent to just a simple technician. She endured that and talked about that. So basically, we had an employee who came in who herself was fired from the state police crime lab for incompetence. When she got fired, or demoted from a DNA analyst trainee because she was incompetent to just a simple technician, she endured that for a while, but then she applied to the NOPD as a DNA tech at the state police crime lab because the state police crime lab was doing all their DNA analysis there. And they would have employees that were doing the job at the state police crime because there was no DNA lab at NOPD because Katrina took it out. They just never got off the ground to getting another lab built until recently. So this girl comes in and long story, but basically she was appointed a co-manager with me. She had no business being a co-manager because there were so many problems in NOPD I cannot begin to tell you. So because she hadn't been trained in forensics, I spent every day lecturing her about how the laboratory is supposed to function. Here's how this unit functions. Here's what it's actually doing and not doing, I should say. And this went on for several months or a couple months. And at one point got to one particular employee you were talking about. She was the sole scientist in one section. She wasn't even a scientist, actually. All she did was swab guns for DNA and take fingerprints, or develop fingerprints, and she wasn't really good at it. She never got a single DNA profile from her swab, so she was not competent. She was not a scientist. She was not doing anything analytical. So this young lady who had come from state police is trying to help me. I'm teaching her about how laboratory is supposed to function and how we're going to try to laboratory up to par. We're having a conversation about this particular young lady in the lab amongst many others. And I said, look, this girl she's barely literate. She can barely read and write. I mean, you can't read her writing. She's allegedly having a relationship that was inappropriate with the commander himself. And she has messed up multiple analyses she was doing, processing vehicles. There's one NOP employee whose husband got shot while driving in his vehicle, wasn't even a police officer, and the bullet this girl couldn't find. But when the wife came to claim the vehicle back after the analysis had been done on the vehicle, the bullet rolled off the damn dashboard. So she didn't even see the bullet. It was just sitting on top of the dashboard. So that was evidence, which could not be submitted later because, hey, it was not found in the initial processing. So it just got, washed under the rug, basically. That's right, the rug. So nothing happened. So the girl's not competent. I was making some comments about that, and I made the mistake of saying, because she's barely literate and can't, speak properly and does not sell herself well, I said to this other, unfortunately, black female, who I thought was a friend, this girl talks like she walks out of the ghetto. And she immediately took that and made a complaint. The reason why she complained was because I did not support her being the actual QA, quality assurance, quality control manager. You can't be the QA, QC manager at a forensic laboratory without being a forensic scientist. She had never been trained in forensics. She had no business wanting or desiring or targeting that position without having had some bench experience first. And long story short, I told her in front of the commander and to her privately, I did not support that promotion for her. Well, she saw that comment from me about that other girl in the laboratory as a way to get me out of the way. So she made a racial complaint that I was discriminatory. Not about her, but about somebody else. So that turned into the way the NOPD's and what they call the Public Integrity Bureau, the same thing as Internal Affairs works, is that they'll take a simple office matter, which is all that would have been, and turn it into a police investigation. So they had me reassigned for 2 years after I'd been there for 1 year. And that was stupid. Ultimately, it could have resolved in 5 minutes. Talking to the commander, yes, sir, apologize, it was a clumsy mistake. I should have said that. My intent was otherwise. Let me explain. But that would involve because the commander was speaking with the girl anyway that I was talking about. So it was a dead end kind of thing. And if she has substance abuse issues, which I think there's evidence of that, I mean that she is, but there seems to be some evidence for that. Someone said they put her allegedly snorting something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they sent that for money.
Yeah, it might have been.
He told me, he was like, I got a clip from this bot channel, and I was like, that's me.
Yeah. me. Did you send me that? And it blew me away. I was like, oh my god.
Did you see the Booger clip? That was real bad.
Everybody picks their damn nose. And you know what? Sometimes we get in our mouths, whatever, like that. It's human beings do it, but you don't do it on freaking camera, and you don't do stuff like that publicly. You do that kind of thing at home when no one's looking because you don't want to, because it is disgusting. But you have to dig your nose. You can't just leave your nose full of dried up stuff. It happens. We're big bags of food and feces and everything else, and you don't get away from that by being prim and proper. But you just don't broadcast to people, and that was pretty disgusting. I admit that was not attractive at all. But
not when you're doing a cooking show.
Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah, I am. Ha ha.
What the hell?
Fucking you.
What the?
Mike, he's gonna answer your questions when he's done telling the story. So answer your questions, okay? So hold on to your questions.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, since we're kind of
You
transitioning
gave her
there.
a total of $600, right?
I gave her total $600. That's exactly right. That's all I gave her. I sent her that text message that day because someone was sent me a live broadcast link to her, and I turned it on, and there she is talking about how, and there's two different things. In my broadcast, they sent me a recording of her saying that there's a guy that she knows that works offshore she's going to hit up for $600 a month. And I'm thinking, I only give her $600 for that month period. I didn't intend to give her every month. That isn't going to happen. And then they're going to live together. We're going to live together. I'm going to stay with him, and he loves my dogs and all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, this was never discussed in that level of detail. And I never took anything like that seriously. I never made any such plans with her at all. And so she's talking about now she's going to keep hitting me up. So if she got $600 from me for groceries and then for $250 donations, $300 total $6 altogether on the pretense.
Clear his name. He is a grown man.
Yeah, that's really all there is to it. And again, I don't need to clear my name, but it's just uncomfortable having some of the things being said about me, like those three did. That Monkey Mar and Legit Honey and Rent Free. I mean, they were just saying some pretty nasty things, and they just didn't have a full picture of what those messages were all about. I did not reach out to Michelle. She reached out to me. I was not courting her. I was not blindly throwing out flirtatious banter or erotic comments. There was already an existent conversation going on by phone and text, and all that Michelle's showing you is the written stuff. There was plenty said on her side of the fence that was pretty crude, or pretty equally naughty. And like I said, I ended it. I stopped because I had a conscience. I said, this is not for me. She's not mentally there. She's not taking care of herself, evidenced by her dogs in the house and the way that she's presenting herself on video. And that's not somebody I want to be remotely involved with, not even flirting with. So I just let that go. And that was that. I let her know about my girlfriend. I torpedoed myself and shot myself in the foot deliberately because I knew that was not something I wanted. And I knew she'd be pissed off, but hey, that's how it goes. And she reacted in a way I didn't expect. Further reacted in a way I didn't expect by asking me for money again later, which I kindly gave her. But like I said, she tried to proposition me to get it. I said, you don't need to do that. I'll give it to you as your friend. And that was all it was to it. But then again, like I said, I found out that she was saying some pretty strong things about plans that she thought that we had together. And I had to clarify that. And then she went off the deep end. And so look, I don't expect to ever have a conversation with her ever again. I don't really want to. Fine. I'll take a $600 hit. I think someone asked a question about that. What I would miss more, the $600 of losing her forever. Frankly, I'm fine with both. Gone. Goodbye.
Whatever stuff. We're starting to switch it up. I'm bored of her.
Yeah. Like I said, at some point soon, she's going to be out of resources and no one's going to be helping her. She's going to be on the street. And I don't want that for her. I don't wish that for her. But she's going to have some problems when this court thing finally comes to a close and she doesn't have that house anymore. She might have some money for a bit, but it's not going to last long. She's going to blow it all. Whatever she's going to blow it on, that'll be it. So, again, I feel sorry for her, but then again, who knows?
And you can only do so much.
Right. And she's doing this to herself. And again, like I said, compassion is where my intent goes, but I just still felt compelled to just defend myself at least a little bit and just share the reality of, the information that I know and then leave it at that. So if you have any questions, feel free to. I'm sure I have my information's out there. Feel free to text me or ask me some questions or have me on here again later on when things no doubt will explode further and she'll be saying more outrageous stuff. But I think that the way people conduct themselves is evidence enough of where the truth more likely lies, and I'll leave y'all to make that decision for yourself.
Jada, thank you for being so forthcoming.
My pleasure. Happy to do it.
What a piece of shit. 50s. But I'm too old for him. Not your face, bitch. Did you notice that he mentioned Robert De Niro's name 4 or 5 times saying, that was her client. That was her client. That was her client.
Actually, I only heard once. And listen, she goes on, she gets triggered by the person saying, you haven't aged well. And then her entire outro is her talking about how good she looks and revealing that she's been getting Botox. And then claims like Molly did, which I actually believe that Molly does have a friend or a neighbor that owns a day spa. But I don't believe Michelle's ever mentioned having a friend that owns a day spa, and she claims, well, she's implying, I've gotten Botox before, she's implying that she got her wrinkles taken care of either by fillers or Botox. So out of that whole interview, that's like all that she took from it, was the fact that maybe he doesn't think she's as hot as she thought he did, because he said he didn't want that in how she thinks she's got it and stuff. Nothing else, just that her looks were insulted. So vain, so insane.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Media, the most heavily emphasized trait of sociopaths is in their lack of empathy. Simply put, they do not relate to other people's pain or sadness.
Maybe if I don't blink, my eyes will tear up.
While it's often used for laughs on TV, you may not realize that this lack of empathy has a scary consequence. Sociopaths have a strong internal urge to manipulate you. To understand why, here's a thought exercise. Think about your own life and something you want. Maybe it's a promotion at work, or something someone else owns, or even wanting to have sex with someone. Now imagine what you would do to get that thing if your brain could not feel guilt, if you didn't care about hurting other people to get what you want. Listen to these two diagnosed sociopaths talk about that instinct to manipulate.
I am quite manipulative naturally. It's just really, really built in, and I have to have those instincts, otherwise I don't get the outcomes that I want.
Because if I encounter a certain kind of person, and if I'm talking to you and I sense a level of weakness, I get kind of the urge to prey upon that. If I have something that I want to get, then I'm gonna do my best to get it.
Not every sociopath is a bad person, but that instinct to manipulate is why it can be important to know if you're talking to a sociopath. Sociopaths today are even considered to be on the same spectrum as psychopaths, and it's not as uncommon as you may think. According to the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, 1 in 30 people are said to have these antisocial personality disorders. So if your school or your place of work has more than 30 people in it, you may be interacting with a sociopath or psychopath.
She's a Heidi Fleiss in New Orleans. You're not there, bitch. She's not care about you. I haven't aged well. I've aged very well. If you've noticed, the deep lines are gone. Have you noticed that those deep lines are gone in my forehead? Look, those lines are gone. Have you noticed the lines are gone? Look.
So what, you've been spending your subs money on Botox when you've been begging for mortgage money and stuff? You always tell on yourself. And to give you guys an idea, if anybody's not gotten it before, I think my Botox was $382. I think it was $382 or $328, and that was one of my best friends from high school. I had 4 to 5 of us, and she had like a Botox party, and that was somebody I met in college who was like in one of her friend's sororities. So that was actually a deal. I can't remember how many cc's I got or anything, but yeah. So she's probably spending it hundreds of dollars on Botox, and somebody said she still gets Botox, and I thought it kind of looked like she did. That's what gives her that Grinch look, because wherever she's going, in my opinion, doesn't do well. And I figured she had to, especially because of how indented that one line is in her forehead, and then she doesn't have any others. And Michelle, you know Botox doesn't take care of craters. Fillers might help with it, or microdermabrasion, or peels. Anyway, like it matters. Wait, real quick, because I'm petty. You know, Michelle, if whomever, your friend, quote unquote, if she's doing your Botox, she should have gotten that line for you. My girl asks, like, how frozen do you want to be? Because I have small children. It's good to still be able to make expressions and stuff. If you were now I'm questioning if she's just pretending she got Botox to sound like Molly or something, because I don't understand why her person would just leave that big dent. And she said, oh, just give it a few weeks, Calypso. You don't get it in a few weeks. You get it, like, it just depends on how your body excretes it or flushes it out of your system. It can last like 3 months. It can last, some people, a month. It can last 6 months. It can last a year. I've only done it once, and it was in the last year, and that was like 6 months ago. I'm probably due for it for sure. But yeah, you don't go back within weeks. Molly might, but I think my girl, like, unless you saw something, you're supposed to like give it a week to settle. And if you see something that's like really bothersome, then you can contact them. But I think they make you wait 30 days. I could be wrong, just going based on memory. So once again, you're blowing smoke. It's just crazy. She just focuses on showing her face and the lines and saying, I don't know if it's sad or disturbing or both or infuriating that she just listens. Maybe this is like a spiral. I'd love to ask a professional.
They're gone. Remember how deep those lines were on my forehead? Oh, give me another week or two, Calypso. Give it another few weeks. What about those bags under my eyes? Where are those bags? Where are those bags? I don't have a filter on my laptop. Where are those bags and eyes? Where are those bags?
I hate being petty and nasty, but you almost asked for it, and right there you can see your scarring. Because it's not realistic to say that craters went away in 2 days. And I don't know what you're claiming about your under eye bags, but my sister-in-law got the treatment, the only one that's out and scientifically approved or FDA approved or has been proven to have any results whatsoever, and they still don't peak for 3 months. They have to do like injections under your eye, and yeah, it's like months of injections so that finally the stuff can build up, and 3 to 6 months later your under eye will be much brighter. I can't remember, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't know if they put plasma under the eye or what it is, but it's pretty crazy. But apparently it works wonders, and I'll have to take a look the next time I see her. But yeah, you trying to make other people feel bad because one, you're selling them pipe dreams that they can get their craters taken care of in a couple days, or their under eye bags, when people are genetically prone to bags under their eyes, or not a lot of the time. So a lot of the time it's unavoidable no matter what products you use. I just don't, it's just nasty, pretentious, superficial. You look just ignorant as hell and insecure as all get out. You think it makes you look confident, but it's doing exactly the opposite. And yeah, it's clear you still have the craters, but everybody has imperfections. I guess you're suggesting that your skin's perfect now. I'd quit smoking while you're ahead. I tell my mom the same thing. But no, please don't lie to people and tell them that your bags are gone and that your craters are gone, because it takes months. I mean, unless you get like a really, really intense peel, and I know that they're out there, they can renew your skin amazingly, but nothing is entirely gone. And if anybody knows something that makes scarring completely go away, please tell me so that I can have it in my arsenal. I cannot believe this lady's 49 years old, but I can't believe that she's alone. I can't watch her do this anymore. I really can't. Or her repeating herself about her craters, her bags, things like that. She pretty much ends up saying that she's got to run to the store, so she has to go because people asked to see the rest of the interview, I do believe, and she says she can't, and then that she's going to be driving down the road, and people get upset because we just watched her drinking wine, and she starts downplaying it and being reductive about how she only had 1 glass of wine. It doesn't matter if she drives down the road, and people started saying, show me the bottle, and she said, are you crazy? Like she does, and I think she had 2 to 3 glasses, which, Michelle, remember, the video I did I think a couple videos back, in it, you make it very clear that a whole bottle of wine is only 2 to 3 glasses. Remember that. You kept repeating it to justify drinking a whole bottle and how it's such a little amount. It's really not that big of a deal, but it is to get behind the wheel. You shouldn't. And because I haven't drank in so long in years, I wouldn't get behind the wheel after any drink, but especially with Ubers and family members and stuff. But to have 2 to 3 glasses of wine, and someone that's already had DUIs, I wouldn't be doing that myself. But she just continues arguing. The person says, dang it, or damn it, you will show me receipts for your food, but you won't show me the bottle. And then somebody says, you said you drank a taco. And I think that's insinuating that she was plastered. And she says, I ate a taco. And she starts rebuttaling that. But I can't listen to her repeat herself anymore. So I hope everyone has a great day, morning, afternoon, or night. I was going to say maybe we'll watch it in silence, but I'll probably just edit off whatever's not there anymore, because I just wanted her to address what she thought of the interview, how she felt, but instead she goes on about hypothetical or these miracle treatments she had on her face. Make it make sense.
See y'all. Peace out. If nobody's told you I love you today, I love you. You have a purpose, even if it's being an asshole, even if it's being a stalker. Great. Y'all have a great night. Love you. See you this afternoon. I said I drank a taco. I said I had a drink eating a taco. Okay, Marie, fuck off. Love you guys. Peace out.
50-year-old woman who's an escort, they're going to want to somebody who's young and, virile and all this. Not that.